It's just one more way of reducing your liberty and reminding you that they can fuck with you anytime they want. As long as you put up with it. As long as you put up with it. Which means, of course, anytime they want. Because that's what Americans do now. They're always willing to trade away a little of their freedom in exchange for the feeling, the illusion of security. What we have now is a completely neurotic population obsessed with security and safety and crime and drugs and cleanliness and hygiene and germs. There's another thing. Germs. Where did this sudden fear of germs come from? In this country. Have you noticed this? The media constantly running stories about all the latest infections, salmonella, E. coli, hantavirus, bird flu, and Americans they panic easily, so now everybody's running around scrubbing this and spraying that and overcooking their food and repeatedly washing their hands, trying to avoid all contact with germs. It's ridiculous, and it goes to ridiculous lengths. In prisons, before they give you a lethal injection, they swab your arm with alcohol.
Hey, we're back.
We are, and my finger needs to be on the button.
Episode 6 of the Prime Podcast.
Just so you know we're here, Fats will test that mic out and make sure it's working. Episode 6, we're back up in this motherfucker. As you noticed, we had to take a bye week because my asshole or my buttocks hole, because I was scolded about my cursing again. I was shitting my motherfucking brains out it didn't last for that long, but I'll tell you what, when you're running a fever of 103 and watching the fucking news, it is quite concerning. And I was shitting, and then I Googled coronavirus, diarrhea, and of course something came up to tell me that indeed I will be dying of the coronavirus because I'm shitting my brains out and had 103 fever.
So how do you feel now?
I feel like shit, bro. It still hasn't gone away. Nah, I'm just joking. I feel like I haven't, I don't feel like I have a fever because I don't. I take my fever. My wife thinks I'm fucking insane because I walk around with the fucking thermometer and I take my fever. I haven't had a fever since like, I don't know, Wednesday or so.
Okay.
It's hard to judge with the diarrhea because my life as a fat man, I be shitting loose shits all. This is not people. People don't want to know about this.
Yeah, it's a bit TMI.
But you know, it is what it is. So I think I'm back in order. But I am fucking. While I was in the house, I would watch the news shit on my phone, and. Like, if you live today, you must be in fear all the time if you watch this news, if you go by what they're saying.
So, yeah, because the coronavirus is, like, it's the only thing in the news right now.
Yeah.
The NBA is shut down.
That's crazy to me.
The NHL shut down.
That's also crazy to me.
NCAA, no March Madness, shut down.
Wow, your phone is making the thing go crazy again. Move it away. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, all of that is definitely insane. That all of that stuff is shut down, and it makes me worry. I was asking you when you got here because we went and took a ride,
right?
And I hadn't gone anywhere since last week.
Since last week,
since last Saturday, I haven't really left my house. I went outside,
right.
I had to fucking cancel physical therapy because I didn't want to shit on people. And
right.
Every establishment, every doctor's office sent me a letter. I also had a doctor's appointment that I had to reschedule. I got emails from fucking Best Buy telling me about coronavirus. Then I got emails from my doctor's office. If you're experiencing a fever, diarrhea, cough, this, that, please don't come into the office. All this shit. Everybody's worried as fuck, and I'm supposed to just sit here and be calm, right?
But think about this.
Right.
You have medical establishments telling you if you're sick, do not come in.
Right. So
emergency rooms and places like that. They're dissuading you from coming to seek medical attention.
What do they do when somebody comes there with the coronavirus?
I have no idea. Because I haven't experienced that. But what I'm saying is that from me being out and about amidst these things, it's like the fear and the panic are like it's crazy. And we had just today, there was a first death in New York.
Was it?
An 82-year-old woman in Brooklyn, but she had an underlying condition of emphysema, and of course, when you have that, and then you have this virus, she succumbed to it. So but people with like working immune systems, not saying that you're impervious to it, but you have more of a fighting chance to deal with this than someone with underlying health issues that has a weak immune system.
I don't like it at all.
Right.
I don't want to test my immune system. I don't know if that shit works that good.
Right.
Because of, like, this is the thing about, me and you. We've been working in the most disgusting environment. Me for the last 13-ish years. I've been out for a little while now, but you for longer. And it's like there's nothing we haven't been exposed to up until this point. So you would think our shit is pretty kicking.
Right.
So, but I'm not willing to test that theory.
Right.
Is all I'm saying.
Well, again, it's the same thing with the I posted yesterday. Thursday, I went into the supermarket by my house.
I haven't done that yet.
And the supermarket was fully stocked on Thursday, right? Friday, I went to get some more things because my son is like addicted to fruit. He's like never met a fruit he didn't like.
Pause.
Whatever. Anyway, I went Friday morning to get some things, and the store was decimated to the point where they were rationing water and toilet paper.
What are these people going to do with all this shit?
I have no idea. But the thing about it is more of it's a fear-based thing. Like, they see everyone else doing it, so they have to run and do it as well.
I'm doing the opposite. I'm not going anywhere because everyone else is.
Bro, listen, if you had an event with 1,500 people, and 50 of those people just began to run at top speed, what do you think the other 1,450 people would do?
They're going to run, right? It's
not even knowing why, they'll just do it.
Right.
And so that's why people are doing the things that they're doing. I'm not minimizing or saying that there's not anything to be afraid of. I'm just saying that the mass hysteria has, like, it's destroyed the stock market. There are people that are ready to jump out the window because their 401ks are taking such a hit.
Yeah, this happens.
Right.
It's happened in the past, and I talk to my cousin about this all the time. Whenever there's something happen in the world that affects the economy, he's like,
right.
My 401k is taking a shit. I'm like, bro, you're 35 years old. You're not going to call upon that 401k until you retire. Just forget about it.
Right.
I can't even tell you really the last time I was concerned about, something like this that happened to my 401k. I love when it goes up. It feels good to look at it, but
but think about it. What if you had plans to retire within a few months?
Oh yeah, then definitely. It would be.
If you're at an age where you've had enough, you've worked a long time, and you're ready to go.
That's obviously going to be a problem, and you're not going to be able to do that anytime soon. You can't retire if you're dependent upon that money. And that's where it gets terrible for these people. But me
now also, see, what a lot of people are looking at as well is these sports, the sports being canceled and being delayed and everything else like that. We only look at the players of the teams, but there are a lot of people in the service industry that are without work right now because these things are being canceled, these events, the NBA being canceled, NHL, concession workers, security workers, cleaning workers, people that, drivers and transportation and everything else like that. Because no one is being allowed to congregate in big, large venues, there's a lot of people that are out of work. There are a lot of wait staff that are being laid off from restaurants right now because nobody's going out.
I mean, this is why I read the news and I get scared like a little bitch.
Right.
I'm looking like, is it that serious? But then we just ran up to the pizza spot before we came here, and I'm like, this looks exactly like a Saturday night at the pizza spot. Like,
Absolutely.
so I don't, they'll have you thinking one way, and I don't like to be up in here like, this is all bullshit, because I don't fucking know. I'm not a scientist. I want to believe it's all bullshit, because it would be terrible if what they're saying is true and we have this imminent demise on the horizon. But when I
just showed you a movie
Dude,
trailer that just
that's crazy to me.
scared the crap out of you, huh?
That shit is crazy. That shit was really. It was about what's happening right now.
Right.
They have a full-fledged movie with Lawrence Fishburne, Brad Pitt. They already have a fucking trailer cut.
Right.
What kind of? How do you? Right, like they wrote this.
Right.
Sort of. That was more along the lines of like that Will Smith movie where it's like he's the last guy left, and
Right.
and then when the people got whatever that thing was, they would do like double by the day.
Right.
This hasn't quite showed numbers like that yet,
Right.
but it's still fucking. It's if you want to be scared by it, you could be. I try not to let shit like this bother me, but and it's not even me. I got a wife and 2 young kids, and that's the whole shit. Like, I don't like this for them.
Yeah, but again, there's over 330 million people
Right.
in the United States.
There
Okay.
is.
And there's maybe 2,600 cases.
That seems like, who knows? I could have had that shit. That could have been like my superb system fighting it off in 3 days, and I'm back. I don't know.
Well, I mean, again, I'm not saying that there's not a threat of things to happen, but we're also so vulnerable to so many other things that to jump off the deep end this way is a little bit premature to me.
Yeah.
Just a bit.
The way it came on was like this week, where it was like, this is it. Like, when it, like, the last week or so, that's the shit that got me like, what happened now? Like, why is it? Because it's here and because, it's close to home now. Like, motherfuckers was coming down with the shit in Italy and China.
Right.
And overseas, and people weren't quite as worried about it. But that's the American way. It's like, until this shit is at my doorstep, I don't care.
The thing about it also is that it just goes to show you that it's funny to me, because even they're saying the government is urging houses of worship to limit service. Now, this is my thing. This is a faith-based organization. These organizations are places where people have faith in a higher power.
God's got my back.
Right, but not so much.
I believe that God's got my back. So
Of
that's-
course. Well, you should be. You should have a firm belief in that, and I promote a firm belief in that. But the problem is, human beings will abandon all sound thoughts and ideas in the face of a fear.
I'm not doing that no more. Tomorrow, I'm going to Penn Station, and I'm just licking the motherfucking handrail all the way down.
Listen, let me tell you something. You could fly to California for $1.
Bro, I'm
round
telling
trip,
you, man.
first class.
I wish I had somewhere to go or something to do, but from what I understand, the panic levels ain't no better out there. People is running around scared out there too. So,
Well, they're saying. Well, I was looking at a map of the states that were affected, and of course,
they could see your computer now, so they know you're not just looking out into the side of the room there. Fat's the computer genius here. He's looking up. He's got real numbers. We're checking facts today.
Well, as you can see, if you look at the map of the states.
Nobody wants to pay for things that they don't use.
Yeah, well, that he still hasn't quite have a grasp on technology, but don't worry, I cut that out quick.
Yeah, well, if you look at the states that are affected, these states, California
Oh, shit.
and New York, are 2 of the most affected states. With the state of Washington.
Washington, it's crazy that Washington's heavily shot up like that, and
Right.
the 2 states next to it.
Right.
What do you got? Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
What's those other 2? The one that's just a square. I'm fucking 38 years old and I
That's
can't
Oregon.
look at a map.
That's Oregon.
No, to the right of it.
Oh, to the right.
I know that's what is that one? The long, stupid looking one. Then the one right to the right of it.
Yo,
Then the square.
you have to get your.
Listen, I
listen.
don't come up here pretending to know shit. That's one of my most redeemable qualities.
Right.
I know nothing.
But in this instance, you see California and New York are two of the most heavily affected states of this whole
Yeah.
coronavirus.
Because all these people want to come here. Stay the fuck away.
Right. Well, I mean, and then we have the most heavily influx of people from different walks of life that travel everywhere in these two different states.
Yeah.
You know, so that's
Lucky
the thing.
us.
Yeah, well, you know, affluence has a price, right?
Yeah, but when it's not fun when you're not affluent and then you have to live in the droppings of it.
Well,
you get all these benefits.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and the funniest thing is that this thing has like totally this is totally decimated any type of other news. If you turn on the news in any shape, form, or fashion, it will be something that is connected to coronavirus.
Yeah, it's all they're talking about.
Yes,
Everything.
absolutely.
It's the only thing.
The dengue fever virus is on the rise.
I don't.
I'm just saying, people don't understand that the dengue fever is on the rise.
I got this
But
dang fever.
But nobody cares because it's all about COVID-19.
Come on, man. How much shit? I can only worry about one thing at a time, man. I already got this fucking blood pressure and high sugar. Like now I got the dang fever.
Oh, you
and
got the sugars?
I got a high sugar. Look at me, motherfucker. What you
got the
think?
sugars?
Anybody that's running any type of fat has got high blood pressure and high blood sugar.
Okay.
They'll call it pre-diabetic. You're just waiting for the other fucking shoe to drop and then that foot to fall off.
That's kind of true.
It's the 100% truth. Show me a fat guy that's in perfect health.
Donald Trump.
Yeah, my numbers were perfect.
Yes, Donald
Everything-
Trump.
My blood work came back.
Yes,
it was amazing.
yes,
Best.
yes.
It was the best blood work
No
you
one,
ever saw.
no one on the planet has the health that Donald Trump has.
No one ever will. It was the best health. My health it's really good health.
Hey, my man Joe Biden is kicking ass.
Let's talk about politics.
Yes.
Yo, when I listen to Joe Biden talk, like my grandfather and my grandmother on my mother's side both died with Alzheimer's. And the end state, like the last couple years before they go, is where Biden is right now.
You think so?
It's when they start stringing together bullshit and stories and like, it's like, all right, you're talking, sounds like you're talking, but you're not saying anything of real substance. Sometimes you say something.
Okay.
But the other times I'm sitting there like, when did you used to sell vacuum cleaners? What are you talking about?
So here's the thing. Here's the $1 million question. The $1 million question would be Biden or Bernie?
Trump. I know what
you
I
have.
have.
You have the courage. You have the courage
Bro.
to speak this.
I don't give a fuck. If it's between Biden or Bernie, I will choose Trump's son, Trump's wife, because I know what the fuck we have now.
Right.
If it's between Biden and Bernie,
Right.
I'm going to have to go with Bernie because he's crazy, but not dementia level crazy. He just says crazy shit to me sometimes. A lot more times than not. But when you're talking about Biden, I don't think there's much left up there. I don't think,
He's kicking ass and taking names. And the thing about it is, the funny part of the whole situation is there's that many people that hate Trump that much. The country is divided. Period. End of story. There are people that will support Trump, and there are people that hate him enough to do anything it takes to get him out of there.
All right, well, if I could just speak to those people, if it has to be like that, then just vote for Bernie because
I'm just saying that's people's agenda is just anti-Trump.
I get it. I hear you. I mean,
And that to be honest, that's that's pretty much a unifying platform. Just hate of Trump.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Something banging? Yeah, hate of Trump. That's a real thing. Motherfuckers really hate Trump a lot.
A lot.
And, you know, I saw people today like Trump did a briefing about coronavirus, and he said that he was tested for corona.
And he has perfect health.
And and he was like, the lady was like, "Did you have a temperature?" He was like, "No, my temperature was perfect." I didn't know I could do such a good Trump until now.
Yes.
I should start doing more of it. But yeah, no, I forget what I was gonna say about that. But it was like, I don't know. It's just scary that this is where we are in the world.
You know, where we are in the world is that people are less. The more we're jacked in, is the less people are informed. Does that make sense to you?
Well, it seems like they're just judging the world by what's on the surface, and that it couldn't be any more clear of what's happening right now in the
but
news. It's like,
you know, the thing about it is that we have so many people that are they're so jacked into social media, into the hype of the internet, into the virtual world, is that propaganda can be disseminated so easily now.
yeah.
And they can dangle the red cape in front of you and just, you know, keep your attention over here while they do other things over there. Without trying to sound like a super conspiracy theorist, it's just that's the reason why we're producing the type of candidates that we're producing.
Is it that?
Or what else do you think it could be?
Is there a secret agenda?
Well, that's
I don't know, man. I've been, you know, obviously, you know, both of our fucking past running around with these guys with the you know, this whole political,
musique?
the music thing where everything was fuck Bush and there was this big conspiracy theory and all this.
Right.
And back then, I was like, yeah. But now I'm burnt out on it, man. I'm just like,
well, it also
don't
you have to
know.
also understand, you know, when you become it's different when you are a single man that doesn't own anything.
right.
Now,
When you don't have much to lose, you
don't
know,
have much to lose. Your rebel spirit.
You're
is-
looking for
is-
something to hook yourself onto.
Right. Your rebel spirit is very like out there and pronounced. When you become a little bit more mature and you now are responsible for a lot of different things and for other people, you tend to see things from a different perspective.
Absolutely. I think it has a lot to do with that, and I also think it has a lot to do with I'm fucking tired, man. I'm tired.
Tired of what?
I'm just tired. I don't have the energy to give a shit about that and changing the baby's diaper and making sure my son does his Spanish homework and fucking making sure that the house is clean and people have something to eat. Like, you know, I'm not one of these guys. Like, I see a whole lot of people online that are like, they're sharing memes about getting the coronavirus and dying. And, like, I'm not one of these guys that wants to die because I have so much responsibility and I can't take it anymore.
Right.
There's a lot of people that act like that in the on the internet, but I'm not like that. But I just don't have the energy to give a shit about shit I have no control over anymore. Is what it boils down to.
Yeah, but that's wisdom though. Why are you killing yourself? You know, there was a quote that I read, and it says, "If you're depressed, you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. If you're at peace, you're here in the present."
No, I don't want to go ahead and say I'm at peace because I'm not always.
Okay.
I'm like somewhere in between, like peace and the future. I don't so much go in the past anymore.
Right.
I try not to. Obviously, it comes up, but like. It's more like now and what's going to happen.
Right. But that causes anxiety.
It does. But I'm not also throwing the past on top of it, even though
Right.
now is the past now. Like, you understand what I'm saying? It's like you're
Absolutely.
constantly like, you're here, then you're there, then you're here. It's hard, man. It really is. It does take wisdom. And as you get older, it gets
Right.
it gets easier to fucking
Right.
navigate through all of this bullshit. But listen, unless you're gonna go jump off a bridge and blast yourself in the face. Like if you want to live, you're living life at life's terms. So you better be here for it.
Anxiety, I've suffered from like worry of I had a period in starting in 2015 where and it's funny because I spoke to a professional therapist, and he was the one that like kind of enlightened me. He was like, you know, you your life was in a tailspin, you know, you that would have like drove anybody mad to be anxious, you know, because I was really dealing with anxiety issues and like, you know, just trying to sort things out. And this is a throwback to what we were talking about, the whole like men opening up and talking about issues and everything like that, like mental health. In 2015, the beginning of 2015, I lost my dad. Anybody that knows me close knows that me and my dad were very, very close. So, you know, I lost my dad in 2015, the beginning of the year. Later on in that year, I got married. In 2016, coming off the marriage, my son was born in 2016. In 2017, I was promoted in 2017, and I bought my house in 2017, right? So by the time like 2018 was rolling around, I was so like my brain was like fried.
Yeah.
So it was like when I talked about what was going on in my life, it was like funny when you unpack it and you look back and there's so much change that when you look in the mirror you can't even see yourself, which kind of like gives you a level of anxiety that makes you panic because you don't really have a grasp on where you're going. So the future is what is it scares you because you're like, you know, I don't have a firm footing on who I used to be, and I don't know who I'm becoming.
That makes sense, yeah.
You know? So, you know, that's why you got to kind of, you know, not worry about that type of stuff. You got to kind of like center yourself on what's happening right now, the here and the now.
You know what it's like to try to tell somebody that worries about all types of stuff to do that? No, it's impossible.
No doubt. But that's why I used to be I used to have this macho bravado when I was younger. And I had this macho bravado, like anybody that sits down with a therapist is mentally weak.
Yeah.
It's like you're like a sucker. You're soft. You know what I mean? If you can't man up and deal with a situation. I used to feel like that. Wholeheartedly and honestly, I used to feel like that. Nowadays, being a little bit more mature and being a little bit older, I don't promote like crying about everything, but I do promote actually talking about things, and sometimes you have to hear yourself say things out loud for you to actually understand, because just thinking things is still you in silence.
Yeah.
So sometimes just hearing yourself say something will jar something loose or will give you some kind of clarity in like a clear vision into your situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could definitely see how that works.
Yeah, and you know, for me personally, like I said, I went through so many different changes that if I could point to a pre-2015 me and a post-2015 me and show you two drastically different people.
What's the difference between pre and post with you?
Well, pre and post is,
well, like the major. If you met both of these guys,
well, you know,
what would they be
definitely, the pre-2015 me was definitely a lot louder and more boisterous and more flamboyant and, you know, just like not really caring, like carefree.
Okay.
I'm definitely now more tempered in my approach to things. I'm definitely more tempered in how I see the world and how I view things. You know, just on a funny thing, I was just talking to Slim the other day. And I was like, I can remember a time where everything in my closet had to be a name brand.
Yeah.
Every single article of clothing, even down to underwear, had to be like a name brand. I remember being on tour, and my big thing on tour was I had to pop tags on something every show. If it wasn't the entire outfit, it had to be something that tags came off of for me to go and perform.
So you just could go up there and sweat through it.
Listen, I'm not professing to be the most, the
I feel you.
greatest thinker,
You're
but
trying
I'm
to
just
be
saying,
fresh. I get it.
it was all about being fresh and image and everything else like that.
That's a big thing when you're young, man.
Right.
And then I'll tell you what happened though. Your wife came
Oh,
and she stepped on the back of your neck
right.
and she was like, "We're gonna do it like this, all right?"
Yeah, and then you find yourself, you know what you do? You find yourself in Walmart like, oh, that's a nice shirt.
I mean, I was never crazy like I always liked polo and shit, but I like
Right.
just a black hoodie, like
Yeah, but this is
Like-
what I'm saying. Like, you find yourself doing things like here's the funny part. We go to like town hall meetings and school board meetings and things like that. These are things that, like, in my youth, it was like, who cares?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, now you have to care. Now you care about government on a local level, not just on a national level. You care about it on a local level. You want to know who your local representatives are and what they stand for, because it directly affects you on a local level. So you're more cognizant of certain things, and it just comes with age and maturity. But it also comes with experience and the things that you go through in life that you encounter, and those things help to shape you.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean? So when you're shaped by these things, you find yourself thinking in a whole nother light. You know? Traumatic experiences help people through things as well. They shape people's ideologies when it comes to certain things, when they're put in traumatic experiences. That whole adage about that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, it's because of the experience you gain. It helps to navigate the choices you make post that experience.
Sure. I'm agreeing with you and shit.
I'm just saying, again, that's why this whole thing about the coronavirus, if you're of a certain age group, you say, wow, isn't this the same thing like when SARS was the big thing?
Yeah.
Isn't this
yeah.
the same thing when Ebola was the big thing?
It happened a bunch of
The
fucking
swine
times.
flu was the big thing, and everybody's going crazy. My wife and I laugh frequently because, the funniest part is in 2017 when I moved into my house, when we first got the keys to my house, when you close, you get the keys and everything else, we moved in. We moved into my house, and we moved in that Saturday. And the Wednesday, the following Wednesday, it was like a colossal snowstorm on Long Island. Right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm a new homeowner. I have no snowblower. I don't even have shovels, bro.
What'd you do? You had to go out
I
there.
had to
and-
run out and buy shovels. I went to Ace Hardware, ran to Ace Hardware, bought a couple of shovels, right? I went to Sears and I went to get some other stuff. The lady in Sears looked at me and laughed and was like, huh, I hope you're not here for a snowblower. Because, they were totally out. I say all of that to say, every single time the weatherman says there's going to be 6 to 12 inches, there's going to be 2 feet of snow, the supermarkets, the sales of food spikes because it's this big milk and bread, milk and bread, milk and bread. You shout out to Vic DiBattista. You know what I mean? Got to get the milk and the bread, right?
You gotta make.
But
a
how
sandwich.
many times have these things happened though?
I mean, it never happens, really. I mean, it's obviously it snows, but never to the point where you can't get yourself out to the
Have
store.
you ever been stuck in the snow for 2 weeks?
Never 2 weeks. All right, you remember back in like '96 or some shit?
Yeah, and we had like 17 storms back to back.
Yeah, that shit was fucked up. But even still, you could get up to the store. You could get what you need. When you're from New York, you could walk to the fucking corner.
Right.
But I don't know, man. People are crazy, bro.
Now, again, I could see if we were getting like Buffalo type snow. Like
They get a lot of snow.
what? Are you kidding me?
I never fucking went to Buffalo during snow time.
Well, I'm just saying, I could see if we were getting Buffalo level snow. We get snow, when we get snow, even if we get a deep snow, it's never crippling to the point where you're in the house more than 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
And that's even saying a lot, and especially in the city of New York where the sanitation department is so vast. The transportation department, us, is so vast.
Yeah.
So again, it's like the mass hysteria that goes on. You look at it and you're like, the behavior of human beings is so like, it's like, are we kidding? We
need to worry about other shit that's more important, or not worry about anything, man. I think that's the key. Did you ever see the movie Kids?
No.
There's a scene. See if you could type this in on YouTube. Type Kids taxi scene.
Okay.
Where you never saw the movie Kids. You're in for a fucking treat if you ever get to find it online somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this scene where, like, if you could find it, it'd be great if we could play it. Just type in Kids, Kids, taxi scene. Just maybe when your computer will let you. But it's a great scene where this chick she's bugging out. I don't want to ruin the movie for you because you never saw it, but the movie came out 20-something years ago, so you'll watch it anyway. She's like, she gets in the taxi cab, and you could tell she's play that, the first one right there.
Right
Put
here.
that on.
All right.
Check this out. It's gonna take forever to load.
Buffering.
Excuse me. Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? I'm sorry, I don't mean to be a pest. Just that I was looking at you and you look upset. I like looking at you, but your face looks upset. So I was wondering if I could be of any assistance. Maybe cheer you up or something.
No, I'm okay, thanks.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't look okay. You're a very pretty young lady. You just, like your face looks troubled.
Yeah, well, it's just been a bad day.
Miss, would I be prying if I asked you what was wrong? Would I be prying?
Everything's wrong.
Not everything. The sun is still shining. It's a beautiful day out. Some things are okay, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Did you just break up with your boyfriend?
No.
Are you in trouble with the law?
No.
Am I getting closer? That's better. You look like a prom queen when you smile, a glamour girl. Yeah. Well, when I was a kid, I had a crush on the prom queen, Darlene Lewis. She had a big black mole in the middle of her face that used to make me so excited. You know, you look a little bit like her, right around the cheeks and the chin.
Thanks.
Boy, did I have a crush on her. She was the first girl I put my tongue in her mouth. Hey, look, whatever it is, just forget about it. Life is too short.
The good part is coming.
Just try to be happy.
But what if you can't make yourself happy?
Well, then I don't know. You know what you do then? You forget. Block it out. I remember when my grandmother told me how to be happy. She said, Leon, my darling little grandson, if you want to be happy, don't think. Don't bump into any walls. If you stutter, don't talk. I listen to my grandmother, and look at me now. Couldn't be happier. Well,
I mean, that basically sums it up, and I always remembered that. I saw that movie, 20-something years ago for the first time, probably when it came out, mid-'90s. And at that time, I was like, shit, this motherfucker's onto something. And it was just the way the music's playing, the way he's driving with a cigar. Like, that's it. That's, he's old. He's supposed to have wisdom. But
Right.
they ain't much more to it than that. Like, if you just don't think.
Right, but this is the problem. Excuse me. We're all like prisoners of our minds.
Yeah.
And again, in this information age, as we look in these computers and these phones and everything else like that, we're bombarded with information that just gives us more and more anxiety. Like, what if I catch it? What if I catch it? Do you realize that WebMD will make you feel like you have some kind of like,
You got the plague, babe.
Yeah,
You're
like-
dying. No
you
matter
know,
what.
you pull up symptoms. Something is going on. I feel like this. The things that come up, you're like, holy,
I'm fucked.
yeah.
Don't look it up. That's
Right,
the point of this.
right.
Is don't read.
Right.
Don't talk. Don't
Sometimes
think.
you have to. Sometimes you have to come out of the matrix. You know what I mean? And sometimes you have to live in the real life. You got to think about it like this. The amount of germs, if you were aware of the amount of germs and bacteria that you came in contact with on a daily basis, just by doing regular everyday things, then you would walk around with a hazmat suit on, right?
I mean, bro, even you talk about work, like you get to the point where it's like you don't fucking care anymore. They're
Right.
like, yo, go over there and take care of that. In the beginning, you throw on a hazmat suit and gloves and goggles, and then toward the end, you're fucking eating a sandwich with the hose. Like, I've seen this all before, man. It's just,
right.
I don't know, man.
You
I just hope everybody doesn't lose their fucking mind.
Well, as far as talking about like morality and everything, last week we were supposed to touch on the fact that these kids beat up this girl.
Yeah, that was fucked up. That was a real. I don't
These
like
kids
to
in
see.
Brooklyn, in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, they attacked the 15-year-old girl and beat her unconscious, took her phone and took her sneakers.
Hey, man, sometimes you gotta beat a bitch's ass and take her sneakers. What the fuck is wrong with kids, bro? I don't understand. I really don't get, who raised these people to be like that, but
One of the kids involved, his own mother turned him in.
she should have.
And
She was right.
The point being is that these children are led by someone.
Yeah.
And the thing
They're
is,
led by each other. It's like a pack of wild wolves leading each other. The
Right.
blind leading the blind.
right, but here's the thing, it's like everybody thinks that crime is exciting until the indictments come.
Well, were they all juveniles?
Yeah, definitely.
They'll all get off with a spank on the wrist, and then they won't have to, if they keep their nose clean. I'm sure a few of them have parents that are gonna beat the ever-loving shit out of them when they
Right,
get home.
right.
Hopefully they learn from that. But
Right.
we live in this age where like some of them probably liked it because they were famous on Instagram for a few days.
Right.
Like it's just.
But are we that savage now that we'll do anything for views?
Some people will.
We'll do and say anything for views. Nothing is sacred.
Some people will. I mean, we're of a different mentality, I believe, because we're a little bit older, you especially than me.
Thank you.
But it's like we came from a time where the whole views thing
Right.
it wasn't in existence.
Right.
That's all they know. This is like,
Right.
and I find it like, when I look at the situation of what's going on in the world now, and now my son, they canceled school, he's perfectly content sitting on his iPad all day, so it doesn't make a difference.
Right.
His life exists in the, like, could you imagine if we were that age and just walked around? If you took the iPad out of his hands, he would just be walking around staring into the palm of his fucking hands.
Well,
There's a whole world.
you know, the thing about it is because we didn't have that, and we had to actually go out and engage people. You know, I remember in the summertime, as a child, that we would go out in the morning and we would not come back until the night.
Basically, yeah.
And there were things to do all day long.
Just wake up, I'd hop on my bike
Right,
or skateboard toward the end when we were teenagers. We
Right.
used to skate everywhere.
right.
And it would be it because we didn't have all the shit. Like we had Nintendo and Sega,
Yeah, but that was rainy day stuff.
PlayStation. Yeah, or at night. I would stay up at night playing when
Right, but
everybody
it wasn't.
came in.
It wasn't a thing where I would forego being outside to be
Nah,
on the
Never.
game.
There was no pussy on the PlayStation back
Yeah,
then.
it was not. It was never a thing of like, you know what? I have the option to go out and have fun in this beautiful weather. Go to the park, play basketball, play football, play softball, do whatever we were doing, right? And I'm gonna forego all of that and being with my friends, than to be home playing. Because first of all, we weren't online. See, that is again the online and being jacked in. These kids are jacked into the matrix. They're in the virtual world. So they would rather live in the virtual world than to live in the real world and do real world things.
I don't know. I think it's because they didn't do enough real world things. They never really experienced the real world. So
Yeah, but you know, a lot of times parents are okay with that because now you can actually say, well, at least I know where my kid is.
I guess we think that way because of what we were doing. But
Most definitely. That's why parents feel like, you know, if the kid doesn't want to go out and just wants to stay home and be jacked in. But to me, that's even more dangerous because when you're now in the virtual world, who are these people who are these kids talking to?
I don't know. I think they're talking to people from like Florida or some weird place.
But now this creates an environment for people that prey on children to do it in an anonymous way.
My son came home the other day
Uh-huh.
and he was like, my resource room teacher said he's going to give me an Atari. I'm like, dude, you don't, as a child, you don't take gifts from grown men.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, tell him to holler at me. Usually, I don't care how cool your grown man friend is. I don't want him giving you gifts because usually you're going to end up with a dick in your booty when you take gifts from a man when you're a
It's
kid.
possible. It's possible.
I don't like that shit. I'm not cool with the...
It's possible, and your fear of that is plausible. But the thing about it is also is if the teacher's intentions are noble and not steeped in anything like that, then he would want to contact you first before he
right.
does that.
You should tell me about. I don't want to. Nah.
And what is it? You need to explain to me what is it about my kid that makes you feel like you want to gift my kid?
Right. That's
What did my child do that warrants this showering of a gift?
Well, I skipped past all that shit, and I'm like, no.
No, I
Because,
get it.
like we just got his most recent progress report, and he's starting to fail in two other subjects.
Which is primarily my thought behind it is because if you're not showing me that you're doing the work that would warrant somebody wanting to give you this, then what is the reasoning behind it?
I don't know. It's some crazy bullshit. Anyway, before I forget, I wanted to talk about the new Instagram and address to the people that were on here. I said I was going to go live from it. I made a post saying that so we could explain to these people
So why don't you?
what it is. So I'm gonna hit that right now.
On the iPhone 11,
Hey, let's see how many people come in here. What it is I'm gonna keep looking that way, but I'm gonna have this on. So many of you who know me and that are on my Facebook or Instagram page, my other one, Coastal Castro, know that I used to do a podcast called In the Cypher. You know about that, right, Fats? Yes. And these people know about it.
the legendary Mike, this
But
one.
that was from a company called Cypher Circuit that I was involved with, and it was at Cypher Circuit was the Instagram page, and Cypher Circuit we stopped being active with Cypher Circuit. The owner of it, Mo, was basically like, yo, I'm done. And we just stopped. We used to do Murder the Beat every week, and we stopped doing that. And then the page was just sitting there dormant doing nothing. I figured, like, I hit up Ma. I was like, yo, what are you doing with that Cypher Circuit page? We got this new podcast. I think, a lot of the people that were on that page knew me from Cypher Circuit. I was like, what's up? He's like, yo, you could have the page. So here we are. We're on the new fucking, the Prime Podcast page. That's _Prime Podcast on Instagram. And this is going to be the new page for our podcast. So if you guys don't like us, then,
If they will like us. That's it.
no. So a lot of these kids don't like me because I guess they just don't like me anymore.
Why would they not like you?
I don't know, man.
We discussed this before. You thinking what is this anxiety about people not liking you? I don't understand.
I mean, I think it comes from a place of, like, with the whole Cypher Circuit thing at the time, we did this thing weekly for it was called Murder the Beat.
Right.
And from 2015 until 2017,
Right.
I did a podcast. I did 100 episodes.
Right.
In the beginning, kids were and I don't want to say kids because they were grown fucking men.
Right.
So, we would pick 10 to 15 submissions a week, me and Taboo, whoever my co-host was.
Right.
Everybody was fucking with me. Everybody was sharing shit. Everybody was on Cypher Circuit supporting what we were doing.
Right.
And then toward the end, it seemed like people were getting, like, upset with the fact that, I would have people that I would pick more often than others when I would go through the submissions of Murder the Beat, because those dudes, I thought they murdered the beat better than other
Others.
dudes.
Okay.
And I was trying to keep it 100%, and that's why I would bring in co-hosts and make them pick, or I would pick somebody the week before and let them pick their top 10. But it would seem like a lot of the same people kept coming up because there was a lot of talented dudes, and that's what would happen.
Right.
So toward the end, people used to, and I'm no stranger to telling people how I actually feel. If you hit me up and you think just because I'm on publicly speaking on a microphone on a podcast and that I'm going to be a nice guy to you and that I share the same type of moral compass as the company does, I don't, because I have no problem of telling you to go fuck yourself for any which reason at all.
Absolutely.
So I think that's where I lost a lot of people when they started, they started meeting me in person, and then they started getting a whole ass full of me when I was like this dickhead. Like, when you approach me and you act like a dick to me, I'm gonna fucking tell you you're a dick. Like, I don't know. I don't know if that's what it was or what, but toward the end, that's why I cut it off at 100 episodes, and that was really like, the end of Murder the Beat and Cypher Circuit. I don't want to say I took it down, but me and Mo were both feeling the same way at the time because of the way shit was going. It was like there was no real reason to keep it going. People were turning something that was a good opportunity into this reason to fucking be mad that we were even offering this opportunity. We didn't make a dime doing it.
Right.
We did it for hip-hop. We did it because we loved doing it, and we did it because it was dope. And then it got to the point where every week we had to fucking have a fucking argument with somebody.
Well, you know what it is that, again, a lot of people, and this is coming from an artist standpoint, a lot of people are very sensitive about their artistry. So it's very hard for a person to be told that they're not good enough or that you don't prefer what they feel is creative.
I wouldn't even do that, though. I wouldn't come on and be like, this guy sucks. I would just pick the guys that were good.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you not picking them is like basically saying, especially, let's say I submit something to you 3 weeks in a row, and all 3 weeks you pick me, and someone else submits something 3 weeks in a row, and all 3 weeks you don't pick them.
Yeah.
What is that actually saying?
It's to them, it's saying, fuck you, you suck. But
Okay.
to
so
me, it was like,
Yes, but you feeling that because you didn't verbalize and communicate that to a person that you're not actually insulting them, but they're taking your action as an insult.
I get it. And I never wanted people to take it personally and then end up, where we were at with things. But it's hard when you have, we had 20-something thousand followers at the time. Not all of them were weekly, submitters to Murder the Beat. But a good couple hundred of kids would submit every week. I could not give the kind of attention.
But do
to
you realize?
everybody.
Do you realize that some of the toughest spitting rappers are the most sensitive people on the planet?
Dude, rappers, period, are the most sensitive people on the
Okay,
planet.
but that's look, rappers, singers, actors, everybody that has some kind of art, some type of artful way of expressing themselves, the artful way that they express themselves, they feel is a masterpiece. And you should, as you should. You should always feel like that. You should feel like that for yourself. But that doesn't mean that the masses are going to feel like that about your craft.
People don't get that memo, son. Sometimes they didn't see that.
Right.
They missed that memo.
It's so funny because, again, you didn't rap with a partner. I rapped with a partner, right? And it's funny because my partner was also a person that I knew for a long, long time, was my friend for a long, long time. So I had a different kind of synergy with my partner that was different. It was like, so it's funny because when you're in the studio and you're doing a song and this person is telling you, nah, that's not it. That's kind of hard. Like, that's kind of hard to take. Like, you in there and you like, yo, I just wrote the hardest 16 bars ever. And your partner's like, nope.
Yeah.
And you know what the funniest thing is because you know how the studio setup is. You're in the booth and you're rapping, and it's funny because you could always tell. Slim could tell if he was killing it, and I could tell if I was killing it. If we both were like if I was leaned back in the chair, just either bobbing my head, or I was having a conversation, not paying attention to him.
Yeah.
He was doing what he was supposed to do. Vice versa. If he was just like not paying attention to me,
Yeah.
and I would know that I was on to something. I knew that I laid something down that made him want to change his rap. If after I finished, all you see is his hand go up on the glass with the middle finger. It's like boom. That's when I knew it was like, oh, now I went above and beyond.
Yeah.
But again, not every time. I didn't get that every time. Sometimes there's been times where we got the reference. I went home and I was like, oh man, it's time to go back
Gotta
and do
rewrite
something
that
and
verse.
do something else because he just tore my head off. So, and vice versa, it happens. But just because you thought that was the best 16 you ever wrote doesn't mean that was the best 16 you ever wrote.
I mean, you tell them. Tell them. They left. A lot of people coming and going in here. But I'm going to leave this up so they see it. So
Right. I'm just saying, just because you feel like, that was the best thing you ever wrote doesn't mean
that is the best thing you ever wrote. It's hard, man. It's hard for rappers, bro. This also takes me to another thing. I don't know if you saw on Facebook. I just released that video. Well, not I. Level 13.
The song was pretty dope, too.
The song me, Nems, and FU did. I
Right.
recorded that verse in 2014 or 15.
Right.
So it's now 2020. And we did that video last year.
Okay.
The baby who was just born, she's about to be 2. So
Right.
we did it 2 years ago. So,
The harbinger, she was the harbinger of death
yeah.
last week.
Oh my
The 2-year-old.
Yeah, she's the one who set off the whole stomach virus. But yeah, the song was out and I posted the link, and I got 4 likes on the link for the video. So I said, fuck around. Let me post a joke. I posted a little meme thing up there, and I wrote, I said, fuck nudes. Send me a video of you reading out loud so I know if you're a fucking retard. And that shit got
That was
mad
pretty
response. People liked the shit out of that. So then this morning, I got on there. I was like, oh, I just wanted to make sure y'all was seeing my posts. And I told everybody if they don't like, comment, and share that video, I'm going to kick them out of Club Phil. Instantly, I get fucking 30 fucking shares and likes and comments. Like, you guys really give a fuck if I kick you out of Club Phil? Is it that entertaining to be here?
Most definitely.
Shit.
Most definitely.
So why don't you fuck with my shit? I mean, to me, listen, I know what time it is with hip-hop shit. I know what time it is with, music cats and who's my friend and who's not my friend. And I won't judge it as, like, I actually give a fuck. But, if I'm just here to entertain you, you only like the jokes, you don't like the music or something? Is that what it is? Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird
Let me ask you a
dynamic.
question. Let me ask you a question.
Well, go ahead and ask away.
This is what I would like to ask every rapper, would-be rapper, underground rapper, whomever wants to pick up a pen, make music. Are you doing it for the love of the craft, or are you doing it for validation?
I guess it depends who you are. I mean, me, myself, I always just loved rapping.
But that's the core of what I'm asking. Are you doing it for the love of the craft? Are you doing it because you love to rap? Or are you doing it because you want people to tell you that you're nice?
I guess it depends who you ask. But me personally, I just like to
All
rap.
right, so if you're doing it because you love to rap, this is my point to that. A lot of people, first and foremost, what to me killed the rap game is that the fact that everybody's a rapper, so everybody feels like even when you do something that's reasonably dope, nobody is like everybody's above, like it's above them to say, yo, that is so dope, like I'm so into that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
If a rapper puts up, I don't care if it's a new guy, I don't care if it's a young kid or whatever. If you're spitting something that resonates with me or makes me enjoy the cadence and the flow of your music, B, something that sticks with me and makes me want to revert back to your music, or C, impresses me with the way that you put it together and the content of your rhymes. If these things all come together for me personally, yo, I can give it up. Yo, I was messing with that. I like that. You know, keep going with that. I'm good with that.
Me too.
You know,
A lot of dudes are fragile, man. They can't do that kind of shit, though.
I don't think that I was the best MC to ever do it. I don't think that my group was the best group to ever do it. I think that we could stand. I think that we were good enough. Our music was good enough to stand with a lot of people that have a lot of respect. And I think that we got a lot of respect from our contemporaries. But the thing about it was, I did the music that I love to do. I said the things that I was into. I didn't try to be anybody else. I didn't try to impress anybody. I just went and if we got a beat that was hot, you know, we rapped on it the way we felt at the time. And that's what it was all about for me. It was about, that's what my artistry was. It was just expression. You know what I mean? But now everybody's so sensitive about, oh, you didn't share my music. Oh, you didn't you didn't go to my SoundCloud. If your first lead off to me is go to my SoundCloud, you wait for it.
Yeah, man. I feel you 100%. And it doesn't bother me. It just it makes me feel like a certain way about looking out for these people on any level.
Right.
Because and it wasn't for me either. Like I said, it was Will's record. He puts a lot into his shit, and it meant a lot to him to have people hear this record. And then, like, you know, it's shitty to sit by and watch the shit not get the love that you think it might get because you're part of it.
Most definitely. But again, if it's organic and it's to be, it's just like this podcast. We're trying to talk to people that have like minds like us, people that see the world the way we do. We're trying to talk to people, and even if they don't see the world the way we do, we can create a dialogue. I'm all about dialoguing with the people. You know what I mean? Let's talk about it. That's what human beings need to do. We need to learn how to interact with each other, not just like finger banging on Twitter and Instagram and all that.
Finger banging.
Finger banging, my man.
Oh, you mean like Twitter fingers?
Yeah, Twitter fingers, Instagram, Facebook, all of that stuff. Let's talk about it. If there's an issue, let's reason. The thing about it is, just like we opened up the show about this coronavirus, everybody claims to have their own mind. But the fact of the matter is, the news is shaping the way everyone is thinking right now.
The news, social media.
Right.
Fucking everything. Everything these people ingest through their eyeballs is shaping
shaping the way they see
the
things.
podcasts they listen to.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
And we're up. Did we tell them that we're up on iTunes?
we're
now?
on Spotify. We're on iTunes. I believe we're on Google. You got to go check though.
Right.
We're on the YouTubes. If you look at the new Instagram page, I have all the fucking links. Boom, right there. All you got to do is you like Spotify. Bing, you touch the Spotify, it takes you to the link. You
Right.
like iTunes, bing, touch it. YouTube, bing. We couldn't make it any fucking easier for you.
Absolutely.
But yo, here we are at 1 hour and 7 minutes,
Wow. Just that quick.
and we had some fucking. I have really no idea what was happening with the camera. I have it on the B camera, so we'll be cutting this fucking thing all together, and you can see us from every different angle, and it'll be a fantastic time.
Right.
And I'm glad you joined us for episode 6 of I just about to go say In the Cypher. Episode 6 of the Prime Podcast, bro. Yo, my mind is like mush right now.
Yeah. I'm gonna need you to get that together.
I'm telling you, man. This being stuck in this fucking house shit for the last. On top of this,
You need to go out for a walk and get some fresh air because
Bro.
you know you're like you're like about to have a meltdown over here. I
No.
can see it.
Are
I can see
Nah,
it.
yeah, you're fucking with me. I'm about to have a meltdown. I'm not about to have a meltdown. I just think my brain is not. I'm
You
not
got-
using it enough.
You got cabin fever, man.
I do.
You got cabin fever. You need to go outside, take a walk, go to the park. You take Honey for a walk.
I can't take Honey for a walk. She hurts my fucking back.
Oh.
She's fucking 80 pounds. This dog, if she sees a squirrel, I'm dead. Because she don't listen. She'll take off. I'll be holding her, and she'll rip me in half. I haven't walked that dog in
man.
years. She shits up my whole fucking yard.
Oh, you'd be Dagwood Bumstead.
Dude, I would be, and then she'd leave me there too. She'd go
Right,
fucking.
right.
One of my biggest fears about living here, and this is one of the reasons why I put that giant fence up. I'm about to tell everybody peace. But like we used to have this like 5-foot chain link fence when we first moved here,
Right.
and you could the diner is 2 blocks away.
Right.
Well, I always thought because she would stand out in the middle of the yard and just be like. And
Oh.
just smelling the cheeseburgers coming out of the diner. I thought one day she was just going to hop the fence because she could if she wanted to.
Right.
And just go to the diner.
She just likes to smell the cheeseburgers.
She's just a fat fucking dude. The dog eating, and I listen, she's a woman after my own heart, my dog, because all she wants to do is eat, sleep, and lick her own pussy. Now, I don't have a pussy to lick, but, I guess that's the equivalent of masturbating for a dog. She just licks a pussy and eats fucking everything. My daughter, she'll be eating. The dog is just sitting by the tray waiting for her to drop something on the floor. Like, it's her only motivation in life is to eat everything.
Opportunity. That's when opportunity knocks.
I guess so. But I love it dearly. And this has been episode 6.
Hey, you know what the funniest thing is? Real
What?
quick, really
Go ahead.
quick.
Go ahead.
Episode 6 is in the books. I was reading up on podcasting and everything else like that. Do you know that they say statistically, new podcasts don't make it past episode 7?
Is that true?
That is true, sir.
Well, I guess we're going to have to make it past. I sat and thought about this one day. I was like, how many of these episodes are we going to do before A, people give a shit, B, we quit? Do you have a number in your head where you're willing to give up?
Well, no, there's no quit. What is the quit?
I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, and think about it. You already set the bar at 100 episodes, so we got to outdo the In the Cypher.
yeah,
So,
I guess.
you know,
Yeah.
We got at least 93 more to go.
We'll see you there, fam.
All right.
All right.
Peace.
Peace out.